This is the greatest game ever made. I am Private Hudson, and today I present to you Michigan.
Report from hell.
Possibly one of the worst names anyone had for a video game. It's almost as bad as Garshasp the Monster Slayer. It doesn't even take place in Michigan, it takes place in Chicago. It's called Michigan because of a fog coming in from Lake Michigan that seems to be infecting people. Now, before you're given the pleasure of being graced with footage of this amazing art masterpiece, let me inform you on what you can expect of the quality here. Michigan was created by the legendary Goichi Suda, along with his development studio, Grasshopper Manufacture. Suda was responsible for the critically acclaimed masterpieces Killer 7 and No More Heroes. So this should be something amazing, right? Yeah. Amazingly bad. Michigan was denied a North American release because the publisher stated it had little to no actual gameplay. It was eventually released in Europe, a year after its original debut in Japan. And the best part is, Suda himself didn't know his own game came out in Europe until an interviewer informed him about it 3 years later. Amazing indeed.
Yo! So you're the new cameraman, huh? I hear you're a rookie.
Upon starting a new game in Michigan, we are greeted with 3 massive flaws that cannot be overlooked and remain with you for the whole game. Number 1, voice acting. I do not even need to explain this one. Number 2, the complete lack of even trying to sync the characters' voices to their lips. Wow. Whenever it's someone's turn to speak, their mouths just move endlessly. And number 3, god-awful animation quality and abysmal graphics. Characters have only 4 sets of animations. Talking, walking, running, and being mad at you. Expect these stilted animations to loop back and forth for the rest of the game. This is a PlayStation 2 exclusive that came out in 2004. It looks like a fucking PS1 game.
Hey, you idiot!
Michigan is supposed to be a survival horror game. You're a cameraman working for Zaka TV. There's a weird fog that's been coming in from Lake Michigan and monsters are appearing everywhere. The government has ordered an evacuation, but you along with your sound man and a reporter decide to stay and find out exactly what is going on. The whole game takes place from your camera's point of view. There are 3 categories of things to film: suspense, erotic, and immoral, and these are all measured by the bar up on top. Filming clues, notes, and characters when they're talking nets you suspense points. Filming porno mags or looking up your reporter's skirt gives you erotic points. And filming accidents instead of preventing them gives you immoral points. Sounds innovative and unique, right? Yeah, of course it does. I don't know of any other game that's like Michigan. Unfortunately, while they did have a brilliant idea, they completely and utterly failed its execution.
Don't just stand there filming me. Give me a hand, would you?
Michigan certainly does come off as exceptionally creepy. You hear eerie, frightening sounds in the background, hear little girls laughing, see various objects float before your very eyes, and even see some super creepy ghosts. And every time this happens, spooky music plays. But you quickly realize that these are all static objects in the background that only respond when you try to interact with them. They offer absolutely no threat to you or anyone else. And then you realize that the spooky music sometimes plays for absolutely no reason. So you quickly come to conclude that this is not a survival horror game. To make things even less spookier and horrific, you can only die in 3 of the game's sections. I don't know how you can call yourself a survival horror game when it's more challenging to get your character killed than it is to live. As for the whole categories of things to film, it's pretty worthless, sadly. The only difference between filming erotic things and suspenseful things is whether you're filming your reporter's crotch or her head. Amazing.
Yes,
As for immoral, these points are rare to come by, but if you want, you can quickly grind them up by simply kicking your friends around for no reason. Rest assured, they will not retaliate. So what genre is Michigan then? It's a point-and-click adventure game. The whole gimmick is that because you're a cameraman holding your camera with both hands, you can't do anything. You focus on things, then tag them with the X button, and your reporter will interact with it. You go from room to room, solving very basic puzzles until you finish the level. What I do like is that some of these interactions are time-sensitive. Your reporter walks around the room in a certain pattern, and stops in front of doors or objects to interact with. If you don't tag them, she resumes walking and does not return to that object or door unless it's key to the game's progression. Some levels have side areas to explore, offering more clues and dialogue, which may not seem obvious in a first playthrough, so this gives Michigan a good amount of replay value.
What a huge refrigerator! Wish I had one of these. When I was a kid, I wanted to live in a house with a big refrigerator like this. One filled with tons of ice cream.
Briscoe just doesn't shut the hell up. Ever. Ever. Spying on him in the shower results in him chastising you for like 2 minutes on what you did was wrong.
I can't believe you filmed me naked! I had no idea that's what you were into. But listen to me. Your personal tastes are your own affair. They're none of my business. Land of the free and all. You have your own lifestyle, and I respect that. That's fine. People have got to do their own thing, you know?
Doesn't even feel like you're actually in the game. You could stand around, not record anything, and no one's going to say a word. You could play the whole game looking up your reporter's skirt, and she doesn't say anything or do anything except for a looping insult.
You've got a dirty mind, don't you?
You dirty bastard!
To make things worse, enemies do not attack you or Briscoe. They only go for your reporter. The combat involves pointing at the enemy and tagging it, and then your reporter shoots it. It's as simple as that. Some of the boss encounters do require some puzzle solving, and the solutions may not be clear or obvious on your first playthrough, which will probably result in the death of your reporter. But that's alright. One of the few good things that Michigan does pull off is its level structure. Each reporter has their own set of levels. The first reporter you get is Anne, and she has 3 levels. If at any point she dies, you skip the rest of her levels and move on to the next reporter, Carly, and play through her set. If, on the other hand, Anne survives, then you continue playing with Anne through Carly's set of levels. Since each reporter has their own unique set of dialogue, and there are a good amount of reporters, it's going to take a lot of playthroughs to see everything that Michigan has to offer. As a matter of fact, it's going to take at least 9 playthroughs to unlock everything in the game. Oh yeah, there's unlockables. But unfortunately, the European version is severely crippled. Beating the game in the original Japanese version unlocks the movie theater, where you can view all of the game's cinematics, a bonus level with a new reporter called Yin Ling, and on subsequent replays of the main game, there are now hidden collectible Yin Ling cards. Beating the European version only unlocks the movie theater. That's right, all references to Yin Ling have been completely removed. The best part is that the movie theater doesn't even work in the European release. Unbelievable. Now, the publisher of a video game is generally responsible for the quality assurance and the voice acting. And since the developer had absolutely no idea that this was released in Europe, I'm pretty sure the European publisher did some behind-the-scenes deal with the Japanese one to release it in Europe. This would explain the abysmal voice acting and the non-functioning movie theater. They didn't even try. They just did a quick job. Boom. There we go. Put it on the shelves. Let's sell it. Make a quick buck. It's a shame, too, because you can come across 4 hidden videotapes that are only viewable in this mode. There are 4 bonus endings that are 10 to 20 seconds long and occur after the credits. They're all pretty bad and pretty much the same. I'm gonna spoil this one, since it doesn't even matter. Depending on whether you film suspense, erotic, immoral, or high immoral, which means 75,000 immoral points, and less than 500 of the other 2 categories, you see yourself sit down and talk to the camera. And you get shot in the head as you're about to reveal the identity of who created the virus. The appearance and the short dialogue bit, they all differ depending on what category you film. But like I said, the end result is the same, and they're 10 to 20 seconds long. Doesn't matter. Beating the game with over 75,000 suspense points unlocks a new outfit for Briscoe. Beating the game with over 75,000 erotic points unlocks the dance stage, where you select a reporter and they pole dance in a swimsuit. You can only pick reporters that you have beaten the game with. Briscoe, here too, manages to talk endlessly. Seriously, he talks for 3 minutes before the reporter comes on stage. And what the fuck is this shit? Is this supposed to be sexy? Wow. Each reporter also has 2 bonus outfits for use in the main game. Beating the game with them once unlocks a much nicer looking outfit. Beating the game a second time with them unlocks their swimsuit. So yeah, it's going to take at least 9 playthroughs to see and collect everything if you're the curious sort. The best part is that you can play Michigan however way you want. All cutscenes and dialogue are skippable. If you take the time to explore and beat the game keeping your reporter alive, it'll take somewhere between 8 to 10 hours. If you want to kill all of them as soon as possible, just to hear Briscoe's hilarious screams, then it'll take about an hour or 2.
Carly! 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 Oh my God! Nina! 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 Oh my God! Paula! 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 Oh my God!
I don't know what to think of this game. In an interview with Suda, he was asked whether he'd like to remake it. He said he still has a lot of ideas and would like to work on something similar again. But he also said when he saw the amazing Spanish horror film Wreck, it was pretty much Michigan. I'm sorry. What? 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 I don't remember. I don't seem to remember scantily clad women in that movie. The cameraman peeking into reporters' skirts, swimsuits, horrible acting. What? How is that even remotely similar, other than the first-person camera angle? Jesus Christ. I mean, this makes me wonder, did the original Japanese version actually have good voice acting and serious dialogue? Well, this is something that I'll never know. It's a shame, too, because there's a lot of stuff in this game. There's even an entire subplot between 2 mysterious characters, simply called D and M. You find their letters to each other scattered throughout the levels, and sometimes they can be hidden. And the monster designs themselves are very original and fantastic.
What are you doing? That's Pamela, you know? Are you alright? Pamela! Pamela! Oh my God! No! Pamela! Stay away! Get back! You monster!
From an objective standpoint, Michigan is a terrible game. Graphics, animation quality, voice acting, cliched plot, almost a complete lack of music, barely any interactive gameplay, and so on and so forth. The list just goes on and on and on. But I still enjoyed it. I've beaten it around 5 times over the past few years. It's so weird and bad that it's good. You know, like the Jackie Chan film, Fantasy Mission Force, or the Bruce Campbell film, Assault on Dome 4. Horrible. Absolutely horrible films. But you get so much enjoyment and laughter out of how bad they are. Michigan also does have some good original ideas, like the whole first-person cameraman thing, which I've never seen done before. And I also give it props for not penalizing you if a reporter dies, which makes multiple playthroughs fresh and
I
interesting.
guess you're right.
It's also import friendly if you have a modded PS2, due to it having a language selector, as well as a 50 to 60 hertz selector. I would definitely like to see more games done in this style, though. I mean, properly done. I really don't know why companies aren't doing it. The survival horror genre, with the exception of Amnesia, is just deteriorating into Rambo vs. Zombies. It's dumb action with no horror. They could easily make a game similar to Amnesia or the old Clock Tower series, where you can't fight, but trying to escape, using the camera not only as a light source, but also as a way to show the world the horrors that's going on. Seriously, someone make a Kickstarter, come on. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe.
I know we gotta set her free, but...
What are you filming from that angle for? What? Are you filming me? Stop that! Stop that right now! That's the worst thing a cameraman could ever possibly do. I can't believe Dwight works with a despicable lowlife like you. You disgust me.